Question for you boys, because we've been living here for a year now. How long do you think you're going to be staying here for?
Well, that's the question I want to ask you too.
What's my 5-year plan?
That's because Chris Broad was a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Chris Broad said he was only going to live here for like 5 years, and he's still here.
He's been
here
for,
what a fucking
he's been here
liar.
for 8 years, I think.
What
something
a
like that.
fucking liar.
I mean, I'm approaching my 5th year.
I mean, time just moves fucking fast. It doesn't even feel like I've been here a year. I thought, I'll live here for like 2 years max. I'm halfway through. I'm just like, I've hardly even spent any time here. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I always thought to myself, I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, I've been here for almost 5 years.
Damn, you old.
Yeah, like moved out of my parents and like actually lived in Japan on my own. I was like, it does not feel like 5 years. Which is why the question of like, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years is starting to sound less and less absurd to me.
Yeah.
Because back, when I was in my teenage years and people were like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, well,
like 5 years is so far away.
You'd be doing something fucking different every year.
Yeah.
Back at that age.
Yeah.
But now it just feels like it's, you can have like a
different.
routine and monotonous.
Now we just sound old, man.
I mean, we are, man. We are.
Depending on how long, well, a big fucking question mark, obviously, is, how long will Geeks Plus allow us to be here? Because
Maylin.
Yeah, Maylin. I'm calling you out right now.
How long?
So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say this louder. So it all depends on how long Geeks Plus will be around, because our visa depends on Geeks Plus. So.
This is why we take so many fucking sponsors, by the way, so we can give Geeks Plus money
so that we can satiate our fucking like lords,
overlords, dude. They're like, how many sponsors can we fit? 10 an episode? Say no more.
Doable,
man. I mean,
okay, but I mean, like,
okay.
like the question though, I think, and this is kind of goes back to the root of it all. Having been here for a year, are you guys enjoying it?
Yeah. I think I flip-flop a lot in the first 6 months. The first 6 months, I was like, I would have 1 week where I'm like, I hate it. I plan to go back in 2 months.
Yeah.
Obviously not. But
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some weeks where I think, especially where I said this in my video about because I made a video about 1 year living in Japan.
Yeah.
I think the big point I tried to mention was like, you have to force yourself to like actively go out your way to make friends here.
Yeah.
Like, it is not a country where friends just come along. You don't
Yeah.
just bump into people and you're like, "Oh, let's hang out." It's like you have to go out of your way to do the whole like, when are you free? What's your calendar like? Let's make this solid, not a bullshit thing. Let's do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to see anyone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
for you guys, right?
Yeah.
And like having this podcast has really helped, because before it was like, okay, we might hang out every day.
Yeah.
But then we also might not see each other for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then I realized I haven't left the house in 4 days. Fuck, I'm starting to feel lonely. And I live alone, and I've never lived like alone. Like
You've always had a roommate. Or something,
I've always
right?
had a roommate or something, and I didn't realize like how much I like relied on that to like kind of keep me a little bit sane.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my fucking roommate, Zeno, I love you, but yeah, you would drive me up the wall, right? But that's also not like her fault. It was like just a thing of
That comes with just having a roommate.
Eventually, you live with someone long enough, you're like, I fucking hate just the little thing that you do, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
And I thought I can live alone, and then I like 1 week into living alone, I'm like, fuck, it's quiet in here, eh?
Oh
Jesus.
yeah,
Like,
dude, I was so fucking depressed when I started living alone here.
Right.
Like before, like Arky moved in with me, I was like, fuck, man, I've been out of the house in 2 weeks. I'm so fucking lonely right now.
God,
and
man.
like,
am I the only true introvert here?
I mean, look, I like my time alone. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
right? Like, I like my time alone, but there's only so much time I like alone before I'm like, I require the touch of a human skin.
Oh no,
I'm
I'm the same, because I remember before I moved to Japan, I basically lived alone for like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Because Sydney was in America at the time, and we were sorting out our visa stuff for Japan. So there was just like a fair few month period where my only social life would be when we'd be able to like hang out in London. And I don't know if it's just because I've been in a relationship for like 4 years. It was just like it was just like nice having like just living alone. And just seeing friends and seeing people when I wanted to. Because I guess the big difference between Japan and when I was living in England is that I could see someone whenever I wanted to in England, if I really wanted to. You know what I mean?
You could just message me and be like, let's hang out.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if it was the case of, I don't know when I'm going to see someone next, then I would be way more lonely.
Well, that's why I'm like constantly just like filling in plans like ahead of
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Just being
I-
like, yo, you want to hang out? You want to hang out? You want to hang out? Like, otherwise, you're gonna find yourself in this kind of like dead space of just no interaction whatsoever.
Yeah, because like when I first moved here and I didn't really have anything in my house, and yeah, I was just going on Tinder dates just because I was lonely.
Yeah.
And I didn't like. It sounds so sad, but you know, when I didn't.
people do that, man.
I mean, when I didn't have, you know, anything to do, I would just go to your house. But then I felt bad, you know, because I didn't want to go to their house every day and be like, hey
that's
guys, I know you didn't mind, but I also didn't, like, I felt like I was intruding.
Right.
So, and it was just sad, you know, and it took me a while to get used to it and getting used to being alone.
So is this-
that sounds so sad. That's fucking everyone laughed. No, I mean, living alone. Sorry,
Yeah,
not being
yeah.
alone.
I just have to get used to just being, you know, in my solitude,
crying,
just
no.
crying.
No,
wanking.
I figured it out now. I figured how to have a healthy balance of everything, but it took me a while because I wasn't used to it. Right, I always had someone in my house that I could always be like, "Yo, you want to watch TV?" You know. So it took
So
a
is
while.
this your subtle way of asking us to come to your house more?
no,
Please.
no.
So like, okay, so we're going back to our like original fucking topic of this video of like online friends and everything. When did you guys realize that online friends just wasn't enough? You couldn't fill that hole that having real physical friends that you can see like.
I think after I had like a really healthy friend group, I think
Like
after you-
IRL friend group?
Yeah.
yeah, after you have like an actually good IRL friend group that like you would rather hang out with more than like anyone.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no going back.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, 'cause-
I feel that as well because I found like my first proper true friend group like at the age of like 23, 24. That's when it kind of started, and I remember. Like my mum had like fucked up my entire perception because my mum had raised me for like 18 years to be like, don't give a shit about your high school friends. Your real friends for life, your actual real friends will come in university. So I go to university and I'm just there with my housemates, my course mates. And I'm just looking around. And I'm just like, I hate everyone around me.
You're like Mike Wazowski's just like, where are the friends?
Yeah, it's just like, where are the friends? Mum, why would you lie to me, Mum? Why would you lie to me?
Yeah.
I'm not in contact with like anyone from like my university days. Like some more so in my high school days, where university was just like a fucking cesspool where I was. So
Yeah, I definitely have more in contact with my high school friends than I do my uni friends.
Yeah.
Like, not to say I don't have any uni friends. Like, I have, you know, some of my uni friends are fucking best friends forever. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that whole thing of like, oh, don't worry about high school because they won't be your friends for life. I think that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
I think you'll know if you've made a friend for life.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Exactly. There is no designated time
Yeah.
when you will make friends for life. It'll happen along the way. Yeah. But I remember like finding my first friend group, and I was just realizing, oh, so I don't have to pretend to be someone likable to be around you guys because you guys just kind of like me for the person I am.
Yeah.
And that was just like so mind blowing for me.
What the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, it's just like having friends that are like just like, you know, even though there's like a lot of people, it's just like everyone's there to help each other.
Yeah.
Like if you're having a low point.
It's
Yeah.
the whole philosophy of God, you're a cunt, but I love you.
Yeah.
You know, it's that.
Yeah, you know, and just like mates that are just there for you, like
Yeah.
regardless of like, you know, what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
and I really, really, really value that.
Yeah.
And it's a shame as well because I fucking hate texting so much. I absolutely despise texting.
Yeah, same here.
And I pretty much the only people I text are like people I know that I'm gonna meet up with. That I'm like, yo, when we're meeting up, what's happening?
Yeah.
You know, like, or it's like business or anything. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I avoid it like the plague.
Right.
Because I just hate it.
Why do you hate it?
It doesn't feel genuine, and it takes so long.
It's
It's like I would rather have a 30-minute call than text for like a whole day back and forth.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
same here.
Yeah.
I'm sure you both know I'm fucking awful at replying to
Oh,
my
Gone
texts.
is the
Yeah,
fucking
you are.
worst, bro.
And that's because like it takes like so much mental energy to like be
No, I
on
get
and,
it, I
and,
get
and
it,
look at
I get it.
notifications that I just have to like have a dedicated time when I check messages. Otherwise, one, I just get distracted from whatever I'm doing. And I much rather I value so much having like just an in-person or like an in-voice like actual communication because there's so much that I can't communicate when it's just during text that I just rather talk to people.
No, it's
I don't
true.
know.
I feel that.
No, I
feel
get that,
so
I get
much.
that.
I feel like a lot of, you know, a lot of context is almost lost as well when you're just texting as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot, it can't be like all the emotions can't be like, you know, portrayed properly.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, and you know, I kind of realized as well that the friends that you'll have in life, the ones that like I might not text right now,
Yeah.
like the real friends are the ones where it doesn't matter. I don't fucking need to text them.
Yeah.
like even for a year or two.
I
but then I
know-
go back
And it's
like
exactly,
nothing's
it's
changed.
exactly the
Yeah,
same.
exactly,
It's exactly the
exactly.
same.
Exactly.
The way I see it is like, it's kind of like a family reunion.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I didn't fully understand the term where it was just like friends of the family you choose until I had a proper friend group.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I remember hearing that for like my entire life and thinking, that's such a bullshit term. that's like this like cheesy Disney movie-esque
Yeah,
term
yeah.
that isn't actually real. It's a fucking urban legend, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't the destination. It was the friends we made along the way.
So, with that being said,
Yeah.
back to the question at hand, which was, how long are you going to stay in Japan for?
Right.
What do you think? What do you think, boys? Because I think right now, my main thing is that, like, at the end of the day, with all my gripes that I had, and I've made them very known, as the comments like to point out that they think
Yeah.
I despise Japan.
No.
I'm very critical of everything in life.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Japan, the standard of living is just much higher at the moment. and I'm enjoying
Especially
it.
when you're British, you just learn to complain about all the little
Yeah. A lot of people just think that I really see a lot of comments like, Connor's so fucking rude about Japan. I'm like, no, I'm just British.
No, it's just being real, bro. It's just being real.
It's just being British.
There's no perfect country out there, man.
We complain about everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
okay, here's a question to you guys. So we all are living in a place that is not where we were born. Did you always know
Yeah.
that you would move out of your home country and live somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
I like because like at least for me, I moved out of the house that I was born in.
Yeah.
So I never moved until I moved out of my home. So
Right.
I've been living in that like my parents' house for like 21
Yeah,
years straight, and I was just like, yeah, it's home, but
Yeah.
it's also like. You know, you go home and you just see the same view out of the window every day, right? It's
Yeah.
like I need something else.
I love my home. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think, especially because I was so active online from such a young age,
Yeah.
I became so aware, like globally.
Of other different places,
Right,
and
right,
cultures, and then it just made me curious.
Yeah.
I guess I remember, going back to my fucking mum. It was just I remember like when I was a kid, I was just like, Mum, I'm telling you this now. Love England, but I'm gonna move out.
3-year-old gone.
I'm like, no, seriously. I was like, you know, between like when I was like going from a kid to a teenager, I fucking knew that I would like move out of England eventually.
Right.
And I was like, Mum, don't take this personally. I'm just gonna move out. I'm gonna move out. I'm not gonna be in the country. And Mum was like, sure, bet. Okay, son, whatever you say. And then I remember when I told her, hey, Mum, I'm just gonna like fucking move to Thailand for a few years. She was like surprised Pikachu face, like. Nani? Oh, you were actually serious all these years. And
Right.
yeah, because like, not that I don't love England, but I wanted to experience like different cultures and everything since I was a fucking kid. And two, like, I don't know, I was always, in my head, I was always thinking that there was this perfect place to live. That wasn't the place that you were from, because everywhere else seemed so exotic, right? And everything. And like, the more I move around, the less idea I have about where I truly want to fucking settle down.
Right.
It's really weird, right? Because especially if you live like stay in a place for like any substantial amount of time, you see all the great things that are there, and you also see the bad things. There's no fucking perfect place.
Right.
And the more you move around, the more you realize there is no perfect place. So you got to make that decision of, hey, what is actually best for me, you know?
Legit, when between the ages of like 12 and 16, I thought America was the perfect place.
I thought America was the perfect
I
place
really
as well.
wanted to live in America
Yeah.
like all my life until
Yeah.
like age. I'm probably actually until like I moved to Japan. I still like before that I was like I kind of still want to go to America, man.
Really?
I don't know. Always since a young age, I'd always been exposed to American culture. I always spoke with Americans online.
Yeah.
and I just really loved their style of doing things.
Yeah,
I
same
loved how
here.
fucking crazy they are. Man.
I don't know. I think it's because for me, it's like I didn't really like interact with any Americans.
I think that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
throughout, like literally from age 12, I've been chatting with people online, always
Yeah.
voice chatting.
Yeah.
Like my parents, for some reason, didn't stop me.
and most
Talking
and,
to these random Americans.
and most of the online friends you got were just from America, right?
Yeah, a lot of them were.
Yeah, a lot of the people you were friends with were from America.
And I was the token British friend most of the time. They were like, "It's fucking corner,
it's
Cho's
fucking
It's Danny
no, we
G."
were cool back then.
Yeah, we were. that was when we were respected online.
Yeah.
God, I miss those days. Now it's all fucking memes and bad teeth and Tuesday. Fuck, dude. YouTube.
YouTube
YouTube.
in it.